It is Tuesday, it's the 27th of August. I'm Monita Rajpal. This is CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. Our top stories today. Just moments ago, we heard Syria's foreign minister defend its country against accusations of use of chemical weapons against its own people. He says those accusations are a categorical lie, and he says that the country has not been using any weapons of mass destruction against its own people. He also talked about guaranteeing the safety of the UN weapons inspector as they toured the sites of that alleged chemical weapons attack. However, that tour has now been adjourned for today and will be delayed until further notice. He says that the safety of the weapons inspector has not been guaranteed by the rebel forces. That is according to the Syrian foreign minister. Meanwhile, Britain's government says it is drawing up contingency plans for a potential strike on Syria. That announcement from Downing Street was made in the past hour and comes in response to the allegations of a chemical weapons attack near Damascus last Wednesday. CNN's senior international correspondent Matthew Chance is live at number 10 Downing Street with more on that. And Matthew, the Prime Minister cut short his vacation, arrived back at work today to talk about these contingency plans.
That's right, he cut short his vacation.
All right, Matthew, thank you. Matthew Chancellor, live at number 10 Downing Street in London. Well, CNN's Fred Pleitgen is the only Western broadcaster reporting from Damascus. He joins us now live. Fred, so we heard that there's a Syrian foreign minister talking about the weapons inspectors who were due to head out at some point today. Well, that has now been delayed. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, that really is the big news out of that press conference that Walid Muallim is actually...
Fred, thank you very much for that. Fred Pleitgen there reporting to us live from Damascus. Well, as the West continues to mull possible military options in Syria, Russia has spoken out and warned of catastrophic consequences to military intervention. Moscow is urging Washington not to take any independent action that would violate international law. Well, let's bring in CNN's Chris Lawrence. He joins us now from the Pentagon. And Chris, as we heard there, from Fred, he was reporting that the Syrians are warning the Americans if there was to be a military strike, Syria will defend itself and will respond accordingly. What kind of activity are you seeing where you are now in terms of what kind of options the Americans are weighing?
We think we're just literally days away from the president receiving his final option.
Chris, thank you for that. Chris Lawrence there reporting to us from the Pentagon. You are watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. You're watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. I'm Monita Rajpal. Some of the other stories we're following for you. Evidence against former President Pervez Musharraf was presented at a hearing in Pakistan today. Musharraf faces charges in several high-profile cases, including the 2007 assassination of former Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto. Musharraf denies all charges against him. Brazil's Foreign Minister Antonio Patriota has resigned because of a diplomatic dispute with Bolivia. A lower-ranking Brazilian diplomat helped a senator from Bolivia flee into Brazil to try to avoid criminal charges. President Dilma Rousseff accepted Patriota's resignation, but then appointed him as Brazil's envoy to the United Nations. At least 13 people have been killed in a series of mudslides in Mexico. Tropical storm Fernand slammed into the country's east coast, bringing heavy rain. The governor of Veracruz state says the victims were all buried alive when mudslides crashed into their homes. Forecasters warn that more mudslides are still possible. U.S. Treasury Secretary Jack Lew has told Congress that the nation will reach its debt ceiling by mid-October and will no longer be able to pay all its bills. He said Congress must raise the amount of money the nation can borrow so it can meet its financial obligations. Well, no more handouts. That was the message from a German finance minister, Wolfgang Schäuble, as he laid out his vision for a stronger Europe. Speaking to CNN's Nina dos Santos, he said the Eurozone can only thrive if all its members pull their weight.
If Chancellor Merkel will be re-elected, I'm confident that we will continue to work for a stronger...
You are watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. You are watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. A wildfire in the U.S. state of California is still raging out of control. More than 3,000 firefighters are trying to put out the flames, helped by helicopters and air tankers. Almost 650 square kilometers of land near Yosemite National Park have been burned. CNN's Nick Valencia is there, and he joins us now live with more on that. Nick, while they are doing better than they were yesterday, still 20% has been contained only.
They're up against so much, and that was the good news, is that firefighters were able to up their containment up from 50.
That's remarkable indeed. Nick, thank you very much. Nick Valencia there live for us. Let's see how the weather is shaping up in Northern California. Let's go to our meteorologist, Mari Ramos, at the World Weather Center with a look of that forecast. Mari?
Monita, I think the winds were stronger on Monday than they have been. Monita.
Mari, thank you very much. An old spirit gets a new life in a city where British beer rules supreme. Gin is making a comeback. Jim Bolden went along for a tipple at one of London's new distilleries.
There's something bubbling in this converted garage in West London, and it's not just the juniper berry. Sorry, Mr. Bond, you may be drinking alone tonight. Jim Bolden, CNN, London.
Well, Jim has certainly made a few people thirsty here in the newsroom, so they're going to be off to take a drink. But you've been watching CNN News Center. We do want to leave you with this, though. Take a look. Despite making plenty of arrests, police officers at London's Notting Hill Carnival, Miley Cyrus did at the VMAs, but that's a whole other story. Thank you for joining us. I'm Monita Rajpal at CNN Hong Kong. I'll bring you the update of the news headlines in just 2 minutes.